A hospital has refused to tie a woman's tubes over religious convictions. WWMT is reporting that a pregnant woman is speaking out after a Catholic hospital refused to tie her tubes because of their religious convictions. She has a brain tumor, and she's pregnant, and she has been advised not to have any more children. So the idea is she is going to be, as a result of the brain tumor, she's going to be giving birth completely under anesthesia. And what she wants to do, rather than have a second procedure to have her tubes tied, she wants to just have her tubes tied when she delivers the baby under anesthesia. Perfectly logical, Lewis. Why have two major procedures if you can just have one? But the hospital is denying the procedure based on religious beliefs. Jessica Mann, 33 years old, has enlisted the help of the ACLU. And if you look at the comments that people are making on articles about this situation online, you'll see people saying, hey, she should just go to a different hospital. And some pointing to the federal law, which does provide an exemption for medical providers who don't want to do abortion or sterilization services. But officials with the ACLU say federal protections cited as far as these exemptions for religion do not apply in this particular case. They say that the guidelines not only substitute religious doctrine for best medical practices, but disproportionately harm women because of the focus on reproductive issues. So how are we to interpret this? Here's how we interpret it. This is not a valid argument. It is often sort of accepted as more valid when it relates to women's health issues, reproductive health issues, pregnancies, etc. But imagine that a Christian Scientist hospital that doesn't believe in antibiotics sent every single person who went in with something as simple as a sinus infection or who had been bitten by a tick to go to a different hospital because they don't believe in antibiotics. The outrage would be huge. But for whatever reason, Lewis, it's sort of more acceptable when it comes to women's health and women's reproductive issues to say, hey, religious exemptions are completely valid here above state law, above federal law. Whereas if it were about antibiotics, it would be seen as ludicrous.
Yeah, and it may sound confusing. Why is tubes being tied? How is that an interference with their religious beliefs? It's not an abortion. It's not, but these are the same people who don't want contraceptives around.
Right. It's a form of sterilization, kind of, in that it prevents the sort of natural process of fertilization of a woman's eggs from happening.
And so if some woman were to walk in here with ovarian cancer,
absolutely.
Well, yeah, what would happen then?
That's the exact right question to be asking, which is how far does this slippery slope go? We are against, Lewis, using slippery slope arguments when they really don't make sense. But this is one of those cases where when you start blurring these lines, how far does it go? The question should be, does the science-based, non-religiously dogmatic medical community believe that this is the appropriate procedure? And if so, let's do that procedure. This is not good for humanity. This is not good for society. Nations with universal health care, by the way, have much less of what amounts to basically religious dogma over medical necessity. And that may be yet another one of the positive side effects of a single payer system.
Yeah, I feel like we're living in the dark ages here. It's really embarrassing, but hey, onwards and upwards. You can't go downhill from here.
Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/David Pakman Show. Lewis is on our Facebook page. I'm there too. We'll talk to you after the break.